Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, it is indefensible that our president, Joe Biden, and his cabinet and his administration can just shamelessly ignore and allow what's going on down at the border. And the reports are that the criminals are pouring in this country. And you know what? That affects all of us, because that means there are people that are coming into this country who are bad characters who are going to spread out in this country. And if you don't think many of them will find their way to northern Kentucky, the Cincinnati area, you're wrong. They will. I can't fathom what it's like to be in one of the border states, though. Texas, man, oh man, oh man. And remember, this is the same policy that Obama had. Let them all come in. All of you that are affected by the heroin, fentanyl issue, they let it all happen. They didn't care. They obviously have some type of relationship in some form with crime. They don't do anything about Antifa burning down cities. Isn't that funny? You could actually make a pretty good argument the Democratic Party is the party that supports crime. How ridiculous is it all? Nancy Pelosi over the weekend blamed Trump. Blame Trump. And they are actually doing the exact, see again, the word I always use is shameless. They are doing the exact same thing with children as Trump did. And we all know who built the cages, Joe Biden. The entire play by the Democratic Party is to expect Americans to be stupid. And they convinced half of you. Half of America decided to be stupid and elect this guy. Nancy Pelosi can actually just look at the camera and say, what's going on at the border is all Trump's fault. When the facts, I don't know where the fact-checking's going on. Is there any fact-checking in Nancy Pelosi? When the fact-checking reveals that that's not the case, that the facts were Trump had the border under control. I want to comment about the George Floyd $27 million settlement. The settlement is criminal. And you have a liberal Democratic city that forks out that money. Folks, I know the law in this area. I know it. George Floyd, when he's killed, you have to look at, okay, pain and suffering. It was short-lived. You have to look at his lost income over the course of his life. How much money was George Floyd making? Take his age, calculate it out to 66, retirement age. How much money was George Floyd actually going to make? And then if you throw in some punitive damages, really, $27 million. This is the classic, if you are lucky enough to be killed in a liberal city, cha-ching. We all supported George Floyd's cause. We all believe that that police officer acted wrongfully. But of course, it all got hijacked politically, then it gets hijacked legally. And as I continue on this, I'm going to use what I'm saying. I've got two more examples to prove what I'm saying. Next example, Breonna Taylor, $12 million settlement. Folks, I've handled Kentucky civil rights claims. You got a situation there where, again, you calculate her age, what she would have earned over the course of her life up to 66, reduced by what they call present day value. She didn't suffer. It was quick. Breonna Taylor, those facts and circumstances, what they've done with that situation is outrageous. But guess what? Louisville, the liberal city of Louisville, pays out $12 million. $12 million. It's outrageous. But then you know what's really outrageous? Ben Crump, her lawyer, and the Breonna Taylor gang is saying there's been no justice. What? What? You take $12 million and then claim no justice? What are you talking about? Everybody's been fired. Everybody's being prosecuted. You got $12 million and there's still no justice? The $12 million is a liberal city being stupid. Number 3, Sam DuBose, Cincinnati. The guy was a drug dealer. Drug dealer. What was his life expectancy? How much money was he going to earn as a drug dealer? His case was worth a couple $100,000. What happens in a liberal democratic city? They pay $4.85 million. They pay that. They pay $5 million. He too died instantly for being shot. I mean, folks, this is just crazy. And of course, I got a great backdrop for this. Durrani victims who are unnecessary spine surgery. Now, we did have a verdict of $39 million. We had a verdict of $26 million. Had a verdict of $6 million and other $1 million verdicts. But when I think about, my God, the suffering, the death of what these people go through, and I see these numbers, these liberal cities, if the Durrani litigation happened in Miami, Chicago, New York, LA, it would have been settled within a year for $500 million. That's just a fact. Sarah Silverman, not yours and my favorite. She's a pretty disgusting human being. But she now wants to lead the Democratic Party because of the absolutism. You see what happens when woke and liberal policies come at the door of their own? Hollywood, the cancel culture, the absolutism, she called it. Now they're like, maybe this isn't all that great. Yeah, it hits them. Then look what's happened. Look how Hollywood and the music industry have just had to sit there while lockdowns and shutdowns have put all of the underlings out of business. The roadies, the crews for movies and films, the devastation. Now, them Hollywood rich people, the A-team actors and actresses, they're doing just fine. All the A-team musicians, they're all doing fine. What about everybody else? It's landed at their doorstep. China, you know what? This is hilarious. China is concerned about their boys. The education minister are increasing gym classes, and they use the words, boys are acting weak, inferior, and timid. Wow. Wow. Since we follow China so much and we let China influence, why don't we let China's attitude about boys influence us a little bit? By the way, it is a legitimate concern in this country. I feel bad for little white boys growing up in America right now. Look at the target on their back. They were, unfortunately for them, born white. Unfortunately for them, born male. Look at this world, how the world they're coming into. Scary stuff. Portland mayor, you know, the guy that defund the police, let them burn down the city. Well, now he wants more money for police. Imagine that. These policies that the left used, campaigned on, don't work. I mean, I'm being serious. I sit here every day, and I text with my friends who are like-minded, and we share stuff and everything else. And it is incredible. In fact, one of my rants this coming weekend I'm going to do about all the issues. And you look at them in summary, it blows your mind. That what human beings, what rational human, Homo sapiens, can actually support and campaign on these policies. I mean, they're just insane. Insane. Bunch of stupid-ass people. Poll. This is interesting. Jordan Peterson's out there talking about this. There's a new poll that shows that 99% of conservative white Republicans think violence is never the answer. Never the answer. Guess what? Only 66% of liberal whites think violence is never the answer. You have a third of liberal whites are okay with violence to progress their policies, to move their policies forward, to advance their cause. And we got a white supremacy issue going on in this country. You know who the white supremacists are? The liberal white elites. They're the ones who are the white supremacists. Baltimore, you can't make this up. There's 1,000 people. Baltimore schools are like one of the worst in the country. 1,000 people in the Baltimore school system. 1,000 make over $100,000 a year. 1,000 of them. What the hell are they doing? Bureaucracy. Baltimore school swamp. 4th of July celebration. I can't believe I forgot to mention this when I went through the Biden speech. I did it a little bit, but I didn't hammer it home like I want to. Isn't it ironic that Biden uses the 4th of July celebration, where we celebrate the founding of our country based upon an American Revolution for liberty and freedom, that we might be able to have a barbecue or a backyard cookout? Hey, guess what, Joe? We had a backyard cookout barbecue 4th of July 2020 with family and friends. And we will again. Isn't that funny and ironic, the 4th of July? You're going to listen to him about what are you going to do on the 4th of July when we celebrate our independence? While he's locking you down? Generation X ties in a little bit to the Sarah Silverman issue. There is some discussion that maybe Generation X will save us from cancer culture because of their more acceptance of all the crazy stuff. By the way, I want to comment real quick about this, ties into this. Isn't it funny that YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, etc., all allow dumb, stupid, crazy, moronic things, but they regulate what you and I say about politics? Think about that. You can pick your nose, you can do all kinds of crazy stuff. That's allowed. But commenting about politics is not allowed. By the way, Bill Maher on his show this week talked about how China's kicking our ass because we're not a serious country anymore. Think about that. Everybody's on their TikTok. Everybody's on their YouTube. Everybody's laughing it up with all the funny stuff. Who's studying engineering? Black farmers. Black farmers, as part of this COVID relief special, $5 billion. What about white farmers? What about poor white farmers? That's what I'm talking about. There is a black privilege today in this country. I can debate you all day long on that. Maybe I ought to debate some. I may ought to bring some liberal schlack in here and have a debate. Black farmers get $5 billion. What about white farmer? What about equality? Shelby Steele, speaking of this, I did a video and I posted it. Shelby Steele wrote a book about white guilt. And I feel like I'm ahead of my time because I talked about this in Obama's first election, that he got elected on white guilt. And what happens is the far left and the militant black community has used white guilt as their power. And it's worked. It's worked. They got a whole giant group of white folks feeling guilty about being white. And they use that against them. I don't feel guilty about white. I'll never feel guilty about being white. But they play the white guilt over and over and over again, making you feel guilty. They're manipulating you, folks. Those of you that are watching this that don't believe in my political views, they are manipulating you with white guilt. By the way, somebody who's bought it hook, line, and sinker, my daughter Erica. She is far freaking left. It's unbelievable. I love her still. She's my daughter. But it's amazing to me that somebody's so smart. By the way, she's my only child of my 3 biological children who went to college. Interesting, isn't it? Who feels the way she does. Fauci. Fauci now says 3 feet. 3 feet's allowed. You know, we all know how, I'm not going to regurgitate it all. Fauci's changing things. You know, it's 3 feet now. 3 feet's probably okay. Absurdity. OPRAH memes. If you use an OPRAH meme, they're saying that that's digital blackface. That's a new phrase they've now coined. Digital blackface. If you use any of those memes with her interviewing Meghan Markle, it's digital blackface. You can't make this up. SWALWELL. Nancy Pelosi put this guy, Fang Fang Bang Bang, back on the Intel Committee. Do you see that, you know, again, that Lord Acton, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. The far left and the media, the far left knows that the media will not do anything to them. They are so drunk on their power, and it's scary. Terrible, bad things are happening to this country. They happened to them under Obama. They're happening right now. All because they know that they can do anything. Hunter Biden knows that he can do deals in Ukraine. He can do deals in China. Nothing's going to happen. Hillary and Bill know that they can sell out the country. Nothing happens. Eric Holder knows that he can play any way he wants, Attorney General. Nothing bad's going to happen to him. FBI, CIA know they can do whatever they want. Nothing happens. We'll have some bullshit Senate or House committee investigation. Nothing will happen. It's sad and it's scary. It is really scary. Coke says they're only going to hire law firms now that have the appropriate number of black attorneys. I mean, again, black privilege. If you're a black lawyer right now, look the hell out. Find out who represents Coke. You've got a job waiting for you. Latest on Andrew Cuomo. Latest on Andrew Cuomo, 30 chicks have now come out and said something about him. Everybody's calling for his head, except Joe Biden. But I want to just tell you something about Andrew Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo is like a mob boss. He's always been that way. By the way, it also came out, it comes out now. By the way, isn't it great how all this stuff comes out after the election? All these women go after him after the election, after he does his book, after all that. Carrie Kennedy apparently locked herself in bathrooms to hide from him, beating the hell out of her. And how hysterical is it that Andrew Cuomo says, I'm not part of the political class. His name's Cuomo. His father was the mayor of New York, governor of New York. Are you ready for this? He was married to a Kennedy. Is there anything more that exudes part of the political class than Andrew Cuomo? But see, he's such a narcissistic, tough guy, bully, mob guy. He'll stand up to it all. He will not resign. I'm calling it right now. Cuomo will never resign. He's not going to leave that power of being the New York governor. He will not leave that power. A schools close issue. It continues to come out how the mental health devastation of school closing, and yet you still have California schools and other places, New York City, they don't give a damn. What are I wonder what these liberal parents are thinking. I guess some of the liberal parents are okay with it. They probably support it. And last but not least, symbolic of where we are going to hell in a handbasket, South Dakota is denied federal permit to have fireworks at Mount Rushmore during 4th of July. You think that would happen? By the way, coming up in December will be Happy Holidays. Merry Christmas will be dead again for 4 more years. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. This has been a long one, but I had a lot to comment. Long weekend. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day.